and a very good morning, and welcome to Koiki Media Live. Today, the 24th day of October 2023, as we prepare for the broadcast, I welcome those of you that will be watching it live, and many of you that will watch it after the broadcast. Orúkọ mi ni Ọláyọmí Kóìkì tí gbogbo yín mọ̀ sí Koiki Media, bringing the world closer to your doorsteps. And I say good evening, a very good morning, and welcome to my live broadcast. Mo kí gbogbo wa pé I hope we are meeting you again in good health. And as we always say, this platform is a Yoruba Nation platform. This platform is for education. This platform stands for truth. This platform stands for communication to many Yoruba people regarding reason why we want Yoruba Nation. Mo kí gbogbo wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pé ẹ káalẹ́, and welcome back again to our live broadcast. This is the late conversation, and as we prepare for the program, I welcome those of you that will watch it live. Once again, a very good morning. Live. All right, there is audio. So, Bialato Doini Kotisi audio. So, you might want to check your device. It's just coming up to 13 minutes past 2 a.m. And it's going to be another interesting lecture as we continue to discuss reason why the Yoruba people must come together and exit that shithole country, the country that is going to hold our bondage back, called Nigeria. Nigeria is never going to work, and it is not designed to work. Like somebody say, Nigeria is a program that would not function. So we must stop Nigeria now before you become a victim. Many of you might probably disagree with us. It is your right to disagree, but I'm sure one day you would also align and agree with us that Nigeria is a crime scene. Lotito, Otito Mankuru. Many people have been told that Nigeria will be great, is the giant of Africa. Nigeria is not the giant of Africa. It is all the lies that the West are putting out to give us the impression that Nigeria is the most populous black nation, and we are better off to remain together as one entity and as one bloc. But the longer we remain in Nigeria, the longer Nigeria is going to continue to hold us back. So this is the reason why we are campaigning for self-determination. It is not a crime. It is an inalienable right. Whether you like it or not, that right will be respected by the government, the international community, and all those that care to know that Nigeria is no longer visible and is no longer working. It does not matter how long the project Exit Nigeria is going to be. At some point, Nigeria will stop to function, and the international community would have to accept their fate, that the country that they are trying to hold together is eventually falling apart. How do we come out of Nigeria is what we are doing. Education, enlightenment, and so many other activities, engagement, negotiation, anything that would allow Nigerians to know the difference, why it needs to disintegrate, which is the right word. Disintegration of Nigeria does not mean that we cannot have cordial relationship with our neighbors. We will still have those relationships. But the present Nigeria today is not going to work, and it is never going to work. So the earlier many of you start to accept that Nigeria is not going to work, the better. You can live in denial and say Nigeria is going to work. We are not going to argue with you, because that is what your politicians are telling you. Your politicians are telling you that Nigeria is going to work, and there's nothing wrong to believe that nonsense. If you like, make una do election every 4 years. It is not going to bring peace. It is not going to bring unity. And they will continue to deceive you that Nigeria is going to be great, that we should all manage whatever it is right now, and Nigeria will eventually succeed. I am not here to tell you whether Nigeria will succeed or not. My job is to remind you that Yòrùbá nation independence is now or never. Should we fail to secure our independence away from Nigeria, it will have a big impact on the lives of the generation today and the generation that is coming in the near future. So this is the reason why the campaign for Yòrùbá nation will continue as much as possible. We will do whatever needs to be done to enlighten many Nigerians that what you expect and what you want from Nigeria, you are not likely to get it. So the earlier and the better you understand now, the quicker we can allow a total dissolution of Nigeria, and we can walk back a proper sovereignty. As I welcome you into the conversation, it's 19 minutes past 2 a.m. Today is the 24th day of October 2023. Do not tell me to speak Yòrùbá. You are not the one to control the program. I will speak Yòrùbá when I feel I want to speak. This is not a blogging platform. This is a media that is being listened to by other communities that are not Nigerians. Sometimes I will speak Yòrùbá, but sometimes I will communicate in English. This is a media organization, and I am speaking directly to all the countries around the world on reason why Nigeria needs to break up. You might not like the word break, but Nigeria is falling apart because there is so much reasons why it is falling apart, and it is falling apart very, very fast. The only question people are asking is how soon are we likely to become an independent nation? That I cannot answer. When we are all fully prepared and we all come under one block, then the country will fall apart and we can then start a new system. Until then, you would have to manage whatever you have presently as you continue to call yourself Nigerians. There's nothing called Nigeria before 1914. The West, or the British Colonial, as at the time, decided to merge what is now called Nigeria today for their own selfish interest and selfish gain. Nigeria is a trading post, and it will remain like that until we rewrite back what it used to be. We can still work with countries as an independent Yoruba nation, where we will still be part of the Commonwealth, if that is what you want, where we will still trade with the British government. But should you refuse to allow Nigeria to dissolve, there will be so much nepotism and there will be so much friction between us and the other ethnic indigenous people. I was looking at the UK government website yesterday, the 23rd of October. There's going to be a summit that is coming up next year. It's going to be called the UK Africa Investment Summit 2024. Many of you do not understand even the trade between the British and Africa. The British government needs Africa so that they can continue to survive. And that means that Nigeria, as one of the African countries, is well needed so that they can continue to have cordial relationship with us. We can still have the same cordial relationship with the British as an independent country. That is if we all decide to allow Nigeria to dissolve. The British government is not going to tell you that we should disintegrate Nigeria. That is not the job of the British government. The British government is not going to advise us to allow Nigeria to break. It is entirely up to me and you to tell the British government that we will still prefer to have cordial relationship with them. We will still want to hold a good bilateral trade with the British, but we do not want that anymore on Nigeria as an entity. And this is the reason why it is important that every single one of us get involved. As long as you don't want to get involved, well, you will then have to continue. For those of you that do not have access to be in UK, which eventually many people will love to leave, maybe not every Yoruba people, but at least even for a visit to this country, you are likely not to get a visa. But if we have an independent Yoruba nation, our government of the day can decide to tell the British government that should we want to remain as trade partners, you would give visa free to every Yoruba indigene that wants to visit your country. That will be part of a system that the government of Yoruba, as at the time, will negotiate. Let me remind many of us that in the 80s, when Nigeria was meant to be working, as we were told, you do not need a visa to get to UK. All you need to do is buy a ticket and you will be stamped at the port of entry. This was just less than 35 years ago. The question then we should ask ourselves is, why has that changed that we need to get a visa to come to this country? What is so important in this country that we need to get a visa before you come to UK? But do you know that a British passport holder would likely not even need a visa, or even if they will need a visa, they're likely to get that visa to Nigeria. That in reverse is not the same for many Nigerians that are Yoruba today. So these are some of the questions we should start asking. Why is one part of the world have to decide on our behalf? I'll go back again to the investment summit that I'm aware of. It's going to be taking place here in London next year, April. It's a 2 days event. It's a big event. Just like next year, the Commonwealth will be held somewhere in Samoa. You might not know the name of the country called Samoa, but it's part of the Commonwealth countries. And I'll be telling you a little bit more about Samoa. Do you know that some of you will never be given a visa to even some Commonwealth countries around the world? We are being told that we are Commonwealth citizens. These are all lies. As a Commonwealth citizen, you cannot even get a visa to South Africa. So what is the essence of being a Commonwealth citizen? Even within Africa countries, many of you cannot travel freely. These are not very good. But many Yoruba people do not understand that we are only being used as a second-hand slaves. But we must stop that. And it needs to stop now so that we can have a better future ahead. About the UK Africa Investment Summit 2024, the United Kingdom Prime Minister will host the UK African Investment Summit on the 23rd to the 24th of April 2024 in London. The reason for that is to strengthen the UK and Africa partnerships to create jobs and growth. Take those two keywords: to create jobs and growth. What do we mean by jobs? Jobs is a job that you do. In return, you get paid for it. Growth is when something is growing. The question you should ask yourself is this UK Africa Investment Summit, is it going to provide job for me as a Yoruba man, a Yoruba woman in the southwest of what is known in Nigeria today? Or is this African Investment Summit, is it for the benefit of the British citizen? Many of you do not even know the amount of trade that the UK government is doing with Nigeria. Yet, it does not reflect on the lives of so many Nigerians. Maybe one or two people, but the majority of you will never have the same opportunity like the British citizen. We can still have a Yoruba investment summit with the UK, where the Yoruba government, like Baba Ololo or the late Baba Ololo would have done during the regional government with the British government of the time and the other countries around the world. When I use the British, these also reflect to other European countries, the Asian and other countries around the world. But the focus is the British, because the British in 1914 decided to use Nigeria as a project. Until date, Nigeria is still a project for the British government. So the UK African partnerships is to create jobs and growth. The UK Africa Investment Summit 2024 Many of you will never even get a visa to come for this event, okay? So don't even think about it. Even if you tell them you want to apply for visa as a Nigerian to attend this event, they know that you are lying. You just want to be another japa. So you're not likely to get a visa. But this summit like this, an European country citizen will travel on the train to attend such event without being questioned whether he wants to live in this country or is only going to be here for the little time or not. Many Nigerians are being refused visa because of the economic situation and the insecurity of the Fulani terrorists and the other reasons. That is why visa has become a gold in Nigeria today. Do you know that 27 European countries travel around the world freely as much as possible without the barrier of immigration? Many of you are looking for exit plan out of Nigeria, but you end up becoming another entity as either being used as prostitute for the female Nigerians, or for the male, you become a drug courier individual. Many of these 27 European countries do not have what the Africa have in terms of resources, but yet Africans are being restricted from traveling across the continent. If I hold a German passport, I am likely to even visit more African countries as against an Africa from the same part of either Nigeria or South Africa, where your passport does not travel around even Africa. Many of you cannot even get a South African visa. Many of you will be refused at the port of entry to get to Kenya, Africans. But 27 European countries today would attend this event without being questioned. I will give you the names of all the African countries that will be participating in this event next year. Do not worry, since you cannot get a visa, I will be here to give you update on this kind of summit. But I would love to have many of you to come and also attend this kind of summit. But the question is, the British government will not issue you a visa to attend such summit because you are not likely to return back to Nigeria after the summit. You would want to remain in UK. If Nigeria was a great country, as we are being told, we can travel and return back to Nigeria. But the question is, many Nigerians that have traveled have refused to go back because of the crime against humanity. There is no freedom of press. There is so much stress in what is known as Nigeria today. Many of you are struggling. Yorùbás have become ritualists. Drugs, 1,000 porous borders. Election will not solve all this problem. We do not need to be as big as Nigeria as we are told. We are better off to be as smaller as Finland, that is 5.4 million citizens. They have a better life. And the age, as we said yesterday, if you live in Finland, you are likely to survive up to 82 years old. But many of you in Nigeria today, you are likely to die before you are 54 years old for so many reasons. And you can just check around you and ask how many people have died. Death that could have been avoidable. Nigeria is not going to work, and it is not likely to work under any government. Regardless of whoever is running Nigeria, is not the issue. If PDP was running the affairs of Nigeria, The dollar will still be 1,000 plus. The economy will still be down. The insecurity will not go away. So it does not matter who is there, even if Peter Obi, as many of the obedients are crying their head out. Nothing is going to change. Peter Obi is just another agent that works for the West and is being used just as many of our politicians are used in the past. The former President Muhammadu Buhari, dead or alive, because nobody knows whether it's the real Buhari or the dead one. All we have been told that is the real Buhari, but I'm sure controversy around his death or being alive will still be questioned for a very long time. Buhari is also an agent of the West. All you need to do is play back when he took over from the democracy of Shehu Shagari when he was a military dictator. Buhari has left Nigeria in a bigger mess that even Tinubu himself would have to struggle to stabilize the economy and the other problems surrounding Nigeria. We can still dissolve Nigeria without a bloodshed. But if some of you think that the indigenous people that are asking for the right to self-determination will stop, you are fooling yourself. Nigeria will stop to operate, but that is when everyone is ready. The poverty level in Nigeria will continue to grow at a very faster rate. There will be so many one chance, so you got to be very careful. I watched a video just about a few minutes ago before I went live. The crime rate is going to increase. Make sure you protect yourself. Don't trust even your neighbors. Don't trust your family, regardless of whoever they are. The current situation of Nigeria means that anyone would tell you is the work of the devil, and you might likely be part of what might be crime against humanity. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about, looking at the current state of Nigeria today. I am not here to tell you that Nigeria will be great. I'll be very stupid as a man to sit here and tell you that Nigeria will be great. Nigeria will never be great. It's a shithole country, and it needs to come down very fast. The UK African Investment Summit 2024, as usual, will bring together political business leaders from the United Kingdom and the invited countries, as well as representatives of international and regional organizations. What are the countries that will likely attend this event? Algeria, Angola, Botswana, Cameroon, Côte d'Ivoire, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Egypt, Ethiopia, Ghana, Kenya, Malawi, Mauritania, Mauritius, Morocco, Mozambique, Namibia, and definitely the shithole country called Nigeria. Rwanda, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Tanzania, Tunisia, Uganda, Zambia. You can tell that the British government is working tirelessly to continue to have cordial relationship and business and political relationship with all these countries. Don't expect the British government to tell you and me that Nigeria needs to be dissolved. As far as they're concerned, Nigeria is better in one block. But that is a lie. But the British media are not going to tell you that. Don't expect the British media to tell you that we should keep Nigeria. They will never tell you that. According to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development and the World Investment Report, according to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development World Investment Report, I want you to take note of this. When I'm doing my program, it is important that you have pen and paper so that you can be able to jot down certain things. Once again, a very good morning and welcome to the live broadcast. My name is Alami Koiki, and this is Koiki Media, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. A Yoruba nation activist, a journalist to the core, a father, and also an uncle, and a self-determination campaigner. Self-determination is not a crime, it's an inalienable right, and that right will be respected by the international community. According to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development World Investment Report 2023, the United Kingdom is the largest holder of foreign assets in Africa. I want you to take note of that. The UK is the largest holder of foreign assets in Africa. That means that the UK is ready to continue to run and have cordial relationship with African countries even after the exit of the European Union. The UK left EU without a bloodshed. The Yòrùbá people, the Biafra, the Arewas, and the indigenous people would also be given their rights to decide whether to remain in Nigeria or not. The British citizens were given that opportunity without a gunshot, whether they want to remain as part of the EU countries known as the European Union. They've been in this country, this union, for a very long time, but the British government pulled out because the citizens do not want to be part of the European Union anymore. So when some of you are asking us, why should we exit Nigeria? It is our inalienable right as citizens of Yoruba people, whether we want to remain in the contraction union that the British government put together on us in 1914. UK is the largest holder of foreign assets in Africa. The UK has a unique position as a global financial hub. I want you to take note of that word. The UK has a unique position as a global financial hub. So that literally means that this country will continue to prosper and they will continue to dictate to other African countries that can still be divided into many parts. Africa is still very, very young, and we can have many countries coming out of it and they will do very well. But the West continue to control Africa directly and indirectly. Some of you might argue and say that we have been given independence and we should solve our problems ourselves. But do you know that almost all the interference that have occurred in today's Africa the West have been part of those interference. We can go on and on and on and give you different examples. The King of Belgium, the King of Belgium, some few weeks or few months back, apologized for crime against humanity. Leopard 2, and I'm reading these from the BBC website, and I'll share the link for the benefit of those of you that wants to do your own further research on that. The Belgium that many of you would love to visit, that is if you ever get a visa to Belgium. It's a very good country. Small population, but they're doing very well. According to the BBC report of 2020, June 13, and I'm just going to read it quickly so that you have an understanding why the European countries do not want us to be free as Africans. And when I say Africans, I'm talking directly to the indigenous people, not the Africa that was put together in 1884 during the Berlin Conference. That is not the Africa that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the real Africans that never had different borders. We traded in different areas of lives until the West did what they've done to hold us back. And it is entirely up to us now to say enough is enough. We will take back those borders. Our borders belong to us. It does not belong to the West. The Yòrùbá owns that territory at the appropriate time. If all negotiation and diplomacy failed, then we should all prepare for the worst case scenario. The territory of Yòrùbá land do not belong to the Chinese. Neither does it belong to the European countries. It does not belong to America. This is what Eledumare gave us, and we will take it back by fire, by force. You cannot kill the message. The message will continue to travel and echo amongst every Yoruba person. We are still doing what they call the Omoluabi. At the appropriate time, we will fight to take back the land. Nobody owns the land, it belongs to us. The land that I live presently today in UK is not mine. I do not own it. I'm just a foreigner as far as I'm concerned in this country. And that means there's little I can do on the land that I live right now. And I must respect the laws of the land. When the appropriate time comes, the Yoruba politicians that are playing with fire, thinking that the Yoruba people will not do anything. Ọjọ́ kan bọ̀, ọjọ́ kan bọ̀, ọjọ́ kan bọ̀. Ìtẹ́ ń gbójúlé yẹn, ẹrù pa ọmọ Yorùbá ò ní dìde, ẹ sáré kábàkàbà, ọjọ́ kan bọ̀ lóyìn. Ó kù díẹ̀ níbọn ró. Leopard 2, Belgium wakes up to its bloody colonial past. Inside the palatial walls of Belgium's Africa Museum stand statues of Leopard 2, each one a momentum to the king whose rule killed as many as 10 million Africans. I pity many Nigerians that wants to die for Nigeria. Belgium former king during that era killed nothing less than 10 million Africans. 10 million. Standing close by, one visitor said, "I didn't know anything about Leopard 2 until I heard about the status defeats downtown. The museum is largely protected by heritage law, but in the street outside the momentum to the museum is largely protected by heritage law, but in the street outside the momentum to a monarch who seized a huge swath of Central Africa in 1885. Have no such security. Last week, a statue, and this was during the Black Lives Matters in 2020. Last week, a statue of Leopard 2 in the city of Antwerp was set on fire before authorities took it down. The statues have been daubed with red paint in Ghent and Ostend and pulled down in Brussels. Leopard 2 ruled in what is now Democratic Republic of Congo was so bloody it was eventually condemned even by other European colonialists. I mean, maybe you do not understand the gravity of what I'm talking about because some of you do not understand the history of what has been done on Africans. You are still defending the same Europeans that killed and destroyed who we are as people, removed our language, our culture, told us that our religion was not worth worshiping. Some of you today do not even practice the Africanism as it's meant to be. You want to save what the Europeans set up and what they are still controlling through those fraudulent elections like the one in Africa and Nigeria, through the oppression where the military in the UK do not have to beat me because I'm putting on a military outfit. But the same Europeans are telling you that in Africa, you do not have the right to put on the the military outfit, where oppression and so many other activities of crime against humanity continue in Africa. But yet, little is done by the same European government. Many of you cried out to them during NSAS. What has been the result? You wanted 100% or 100,000 petition. I'm sure you gained that. 3 years after NSAS, some of you are still so scared that you cannot even come out and protest again 3 years because of the experience of what occurred in 2020. May the soul of those that died continue to rest in peace. Even as the war is going on between the Gaza and the Israel, over 100,000 people came out to protest. Not one single bullet was shot. Not one. Last week, Saturday, 100,000 people were on the street of London to protest against whatever is happening in that region. Not one person was killed. But the shithole country you call Nigeria killed many people in Odigbo, just like people were killed in Lekki massacre. Till date, nobody has a justice for Delegiwa, but many of you think by crying out on the social media for justice for Mohbad, it will get the justice. You will never get justice should we remain as Nigerians. There's nothing called justice. Nigeria has been programmed to deal with you if you go out and protest. But in reverse here in UK, when we go out and protest, the police protect us. But in Nigeria and African countries, you are not allowed to protest. Let's go back to Belgium as we continue to talk about the crime committed that even the other colonialists said that the crime Belgium did in what is called the Republic of Congo today should not have occurred. The current king have apologized for the slavery that took place. Many of you will remain slaves of the European countries should you want to remain as Nigerians. You are part of their slaves. I am not one of them anymore. And we will continue to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. Don't expect this kind of conversation from CNN, ABC, Fox News, NBC, Sky News, BBC, Al Jazeera. This is now the new alternative news media that will tell you the crime against humanity by the European countries in Africa. And we must now say enough is enough. We will take back what belongs to us. Leopard 2 ruled during that era in what is now known as Democratic Republic of Congo. Remember, Democratic Republic of Congo will also be coming to London, their representatives, for what is called the African Summit 2024 in April, God willing. Was so bloody, it was eventually condemned by other European colonialists in 1908. 1908, Nigeria was not amalgamated then. Though the Colonial were still running all their shenanigans in Africa, controlling us, using proxies, putting hatred among different Africans. We hate each other so much that South Africa will burn down any Nigeria today. This is part of what they've done. We must hate each other. We must never love each other, because loving each other will mean that we will be able to fight back. Today, we hate each other that even some of you think that it is the Igbos that is your problem, even though that is what they've created. The hatred. We must never love each other as Africans. Yet, 27 European countries are traveling around the world and telling us they are better than me and you. 1908, that was just approximately 6 years before the fraudulent amalgamation. Nigeria was amalgamated in 1914. In 1908, other European countries condemned what the king of Belgium of that time, known as Leopard II, the crime against humanity. 10 million Africans were killed by one country. But it has taken far longer to come under scrutiny at home. Last week, thousands in the country of 11 million people. Belgium is 11 million. We say we want Yòrùbá sovereignty. Somebody's telling me, why do you want Yòrùbá sovereignty? Why not try let us fix Nigeria? Bomb bastard. So you expect us to fix a country like Nigeria, where you think the West will allow you to fix Nigeria? The European countries know that the moment Nigeria break, things will start flourishing. We will still have the same trade post with them. We will have embassies of the Biafrans in UK, embassies of the Arewa in UK, embassy of the Yoruba, and even other countries that wants to emerge out of Nigeria. Is that not something better? No, they don't want that. Belgium is 11 million. They control what is still called Africa today. So during the US black man George Floyd in the police custody protest, many of these corrupt countries, those that have committed crime against humanity, people started destroying their sculpture that was put around each of the countries. A lot took place as well in UK. A renewed global focus on racism is highlighting a violent colonial history. Many of you are born today do not even know that our great-great-grandfathers were thrown into the sea for the fish to be eaten. Some of them died with their heart and mind. Some of them, their spirit are still traveling within Africa. Many of you do not know what the colonial era did. They killed many of us. But today, those spirits are still haunting them themselves. Until we all free ourselves from the shackles of the European colonial slavery, your life will not be better. If you like go to your church 300 times, your life will still remain as bad as Nigeria it is. Many of you think your prayers will solve and make you a better person in Nigeria. You must be crazy. Many people do not even allow prayer to happen in certain organizations in this country. You cannot start to pray during a council meeting in this country. You'll be fired because prayer is not what is needed. What is needed is what is here. Do not bring your prayer into the council meeting. It is only in that shithole continent that you think that your prayer. Go to every part of Yoruba land today. You see people doing night vigil. When countries around the world are planning, we are there shouting Jesus and shouting Muhammad. Bomb bastard. Bomb bastard. All these small children. We're talking about what they did to us. It's telling me to stop insulting. A king killed 10 million people. Is that not an insult? Bomb bastard. More than 10 million people were killed. Insult. Can you imagine that? Bomb bastard. Something that we should be crying, that the souls of millions of Africans that were killed, and that is why your life is still backward today, and your life will never get better until we break from that shithole country called Nigeria. Oh, Mali. A renewed global focus on racism. Many of you that refuse to allow us to break now, I pity some of your children in Europe. I pity them. Some of us can take the racism. The new generation of the children born by Africans in the West will not be able to take it. They will fight back. Years down the line, I could see that already in some of the communities in this country. I'm not going to mention their names. There are some communities in UK. They will fight back at the appropriate time. Racism that some of us have absorbed, our children will not be able to absorb it. So you better start thinking that those children can be given another opportunity in the Yoruba territory rather than here. They've gained all the knowledge. We can then move them out of here. The reason why most of you will lose your children in Europe after they are 16 years old is because the way the system is set up here. And those of you also in Nigeria, is the same thing as well. It's just that there's a little bit of difference between the two. A renewed global focus on racism is highlighting a violent colonial history. Did you hear the word violent? During the colonial history, it was violent. You think they were joking. It was a serious violence during the colonial era. They were not joking. Some of what they did to our great-great-grandfathers and grandmothers are something that we should be crying for today. And if you don't know the meaning of violence, I beg you to go and do a Google search on it. During the global focus on racism is now highlighting a violent colonial history that generated riches for Belgians, but death and mystery for the Congolese. While Belgium was making money, the Congolese were suffering. Go and look at Congo today and tell me if anything has changed. Everyone is waking up from a sleep. It is a reckoning with the past. Explain Deborah Kayimba, a Congolese human rights lawyer who has lived in Belgium. Statues, defaced and removed, like the statues of the racist historical figures, vandalized or removed in Britain, even in the US. Leopard 2 days on the Belgium street could now be numbered. I don't think they would like to put a status out again. This king, during the colonial era, killed 10 million Africans. Do you know what that means? If those 10 millions were not killed, do you know how many people would have been reproduced? And don't be told that Africa is too big. It's all lies. China is 1 point something billion. On Monday, the University of Mons removed a bust of the late king following the circulation of a student-led petition saying it represents the rape, mutilation, and the genocide of millions of Congolese. Take those words, rape. Are you not being raped today? Ask yourself, as Nigerians, are you not being raped today? I'm not talking about even the Fulani in the forest. Many of you have been raped. The video that I'm talking about is already on my status. Some of you must have seen it. I didn't have enough time to post it on Twitter yet. The woman cried out. This was in Abuja. Somebody told her there's a job for OSHA. They were only going to pay 10,000 naira either per day. It was going to be a 4 days event. She gets stuck with one chance. She was crying. She was molested. This is in Abuja. So you think only Fulani in the forest are raping you? There are so many criminals amongst many Nigerians, and they are desperate. So you better be careful, especially when somebody tell you there's a job out there, so that you do not become a one chance. 2 weeks ago, the same Abuja, a woman was thrown out of the vehicle. The shit-o country Balagada Hospital, or Bagalada, whatever nonsense they call it, all this bomb bastard, hospital in Nigeria. The woman was not treated. They closed the door on her, just like during the colonial era, people were raped, mutilation. There's genocide going on in the northeast of Nigeria and also the northwest, just like genocide is going on as well in southeast. But because we don't like the Igbos, everybody put their eyes away. As long as they are not disturbing us, they can kill them. Kill as many of them so that we can have a better life. But in reality, you cannot get a better life because those people you are killing in the southeast, just like the civil war that took place in Nigeria for 3 years, that was crime against humanity. Those were genocide. Till date, the federal government refused to accept that the civil war that led to about 5 million people being killed in the southeast was genocide. Maybe they should have started with that. Apologize so that we can still be able to live together as one block. But rather, remember what the Olori Buruku Bombasta Buhari said, dead or alive, is reminding the Igbos of the southeast region that they should remember what they did to them during the Civil War. According to Jola Sambi Nzimba, a Belgian Congolese poet and spokesperson for the Belgium Network for Black Lives, says the status tell her she's less than a regular Belgian. I'm a British passport holder. Who cares whether you're an American, Canadian, Japanese, South Korean passport holder? You are still a second-class citizen, even with those passports. You think some of us wants to keep this passport as against having our own independent country. The passport is just for us to be able to move around. Nothing more than that, and give you that free privilege. But even those of us that doesn't have the passport, and those of you that have the passport, we are still this. People will still abuse me if I go out there. I will still be abused because they don't have. Sometimes they ask you, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm British." No. We mean, where originally are you from? Don't you get those kind of questions? Oh, you've never been approached by somebody that tell you, "Where are you from?" You said, "I'm from here." And it's asking yourself, what do you mean you are from here? Definitely you can't be from here because you're a black man. You shouldn't be from here. You should be from the zoo. Because that is what they've been telling them. Don't you know that is a very, very big insult? I mean, you go out to events, even, people that are well learned. Where are you from? I say, I'm from here. And he thinks that maybe I didn't understand because his own English is different from my own phone. No, I mean, where originally are you from? I said, I'm from here. He said, no, where exactly are you from? Because he knows definitely that you are not from here. And these are the same people that destroy us for thousands of years. So where you never travel, where you dey inside that zoo, when we are talking, that is even when we come back home, some of you don't even recognize us anymore. Say, Baba, you don't bring money, and eventually how you're going to kill us is what is in your mind, because those things that you are saying on us, it's like it means a lot to you. Because some of you have seen some of those, your family, on social media, and those family thought they were just normal things, showing their vehicles, I pity those that even show so much, because they don't even know that you are struggling. Then most of you will go home in December, and then you will probably not come back to Europe. So you better be careful. Those of you that are, shook. If Nigeria was great and everybody has the same opportunity, they won't think like that. I'm not saying that many of you does the same thing like that, but majority of you are ready to kill people that are coming for Christmas. I pity a lot of Nigerians that are traveling home this Christmas. Take your security. Don't joke. Don't drink anything that you don't recognize. I saw a video of a Nigerian that went to somewhere, I think he went to sing, and they poisoned him. So many cases like that. Don't trust anybody, especially those of you going up for Christmas. I wish you safe journey. I am not coming to Nigeria for Christmas. There's so many places I would love to visit for Christmas. Nigeria will be the last place for me to visit for Christmas. But if there is a bus boost or we are on the M1, I will buy my ticket 72 hours. I will be with you guys on the ground. Anything less than that, I am not coming right now. So if you like, tell me to come. You're wasting your time. I'm not coming anywhere. But when there's bus boost and when we're on the M1, I, Olayomi Koiki, I will be on the flight straight to Nigeria, 72 hours. I know by that time the airport might be shut, so I might have to travel to another airport and drive through. I will be on the ground to start making the reports. So I'm going to move swiftly. I'm just giving you the background of what transpired during the colonial era. How the Belgium government, not government, the king, Leopold is called. You can Google it and read more about it. Excuse me. For the activist, the Holy Grail is the giant statue of Leopold II on the horseback at the gate of the royal palace in Brussels. A petition calling on the city for his removal has reached 74,000 signatures. I will dance if it comes down. I never imagined this happening in my lifetime, Miss Kimberly added. It will be a really significant for Congolese people, especially those whose family perished. Some of us do not even know Badagry. I saw Abike Dabiri taking some people there, the point of no return. If you have the time, please visit that area and feel the energy. The moment you get to the point of no return, you become a slave forever. Some of us are still slaves today. And you remain slave if we do not free our mind from the shackles of the current Nigeria today. On Friday, the younger brother of the Belgian king, Philippe, Prince Laurent, defended his ancestor. What do you expect? Saying that Leopold II was not responsible for atrocities in the colony because he never went to Congo. The royal palace is yet to give his own response. Can you imagine? The younger brother is defending the crime against humanity. So, did the Queen Elizabeth or the mother of the Queen, all the crime that took place in Nigeria during the colonial era, was she on the ground? They don't need to be on the ground. All they have to do is just send all their... Was Lugard doing amalgamation on his own? Lugard was working on behalf of the British Empire. You think Lugard would have taken the decision without consulting the British Empire as at the time? You think Lugard just wake up and say, amalgamate Nigeria? He was working with certain people with instruction. For many years, Leopold II was widely known as a leader who defended Belgium neutrality in the 1870-71 Franco-Prussian War and commissioned public works fit for the modern nation. But in 2010, a former Belgian foreign minister, Louis Michel, and the father of the future Prime Minister, Charles Michel, called Leopold a hero with ambitions for a small country like Belgium. It was a small country, but it committed so much crime. In a TV debate this week, a former president of the Free University of Brussels, Havel Asquin, argued there were positive aspects of the colonialization, listing the health system, infrastructure, primary education. He said Belgium brought to Central Africa. Colonial built on forced labor and brutality. The same brutality is still being experienced by many Nigerians today. You are still being brutalized by the government, LASMA, by individuals that think that they are more powerful and nothing would happen if they touch you. Like the way Mohbad was bullied. Many of you get the same bully every day. The only difference is that Mohbad was a celebrity that died because the system did not protect him. People do get bullied here, but when you report bully, it will be dealt with quickly. Nigeria is a crime scene. So when you get bullied, you are not likely to get support. And many of you will still be bullied. Civilization was at the core of Leopard 2 pitch to European leaders in 1885. When the slice, did you hear the word? The slice up and allocated territories in what became known as the Scramble for Africa. I want you to go and watch that movie. It's on Netflix. I love Nigeria. What do you love about Nigeria? I would die for Nigeria. I pity a lot of you. You would die. Even Rashidi Yekini. How many of you remember Rashidi Yekini memorial yesterday? It was only Google that remind people. Everybody don't forget Rashidi Yekini. A great footballer. He died. Nobody remember him. I mean, no national engagement happened in even Ibadan yesterday for Rashidi Yekini. I mean, if you hear the word Rashidi Yekini, those were the time of Daniel Amokachi, Emmanuel Emenike, and whatever, JJ Okocha. How many people remember Rashidi Yekini? Yesterday it was one of his memorial day. Nobody remember. It was Google that remind people that today is Rashidi Yekini. So, how many people remember Okwaraji? How will you remember Okwaraji when it's a shito country? 1885, when they sliced up and allocated territories in what became known as the Scramble for Africa. So, moving forward, in return, the European leaders gathered at what is called the Berlin Conference, granted him 2 square kilometers, about 770 square miles, to forge a personnel colony where he was free to do as he liked. He called it Congo Free State. Imagine a king in another continent came to Africa and called it Congo Free State. I mean, they were running Congo as another empire. It quickly became a brutal, exploitative regime that relied on forced labor to cultivate and trade rubber, ivories, and minerals. Archive picture from Congo Free State document is violent and brutality. The same violence is still going on in Nigeria today. People's hand, according to the picture, were chopped up just the same way Fulani is chopping your hand now. It has been happening a long time ago. Because I can see pictures of men, what you get one by, you know, if you want to do what they don't ask you to do, they'll chop your hand off. So that will send a message to the next person that do not try nonsense. But today, they are using the same Nigerian security to kill you. And the West will say, we are telling Nigerian government to take it easy with the citizen. The citizen, America will come out and, you see them, they'll come up with a report, say, hey, we are advising Nigerian government to take it easy with you. That's the only thing they can say. So, and when people don't see Oyinbo Pepe come out and talk from America, yeah, America just told Nigerian government, don't mess around with us. And you see them there on Twitter, on social media. You think American government cares about what happens in Nigeria. Many of you will die, concern American government. What you know, American government negotiated their way around. They've released two out of few Americans that have been captured in Hamas. Don't you know that that is a message that America fight for their citizen, even in the midst of chaos? Only God knows the kind of arrangement that took place between Qatar. Qatar is a small country, less than 3 million. Qatar negotiated the American citizen out. I don't know what was the deal behind it. It shows that if you are a citizen of America, God's own country, you are likely to be protected. In the midst of the chaos that is currently going on in that region, America still don't get two. They are still trying to get the rest out. You there inside Nigeria. I mean, how can they kidnap Nigerians inside Nigeria and the government is sleeping and waking up? And some of you think that is a country. Have they released the people kidnapped from the NYSC in August? Not sure. Ah, God bless America. Only God knows. I mean, when I saw that news, I was trying to figure out, what kind of negotiation would they have put on the table that, two Americans got out safely without being hurt. You get kidnapped in Nigeria. The DSS, they only come after people that are talking the truth. Just like they want to kill that young boy now, or that young man, David Odoye. They're running after his lives. Take him out, speaking the truth. Kill Showore, kill anybody that comes across. But the real criminals are in the forest. Go to Biafra and go and deal with them. You will see what is going to happen to you. You think those ones are joking. If we are joking, they are not joking. The only language the Nigerian government understands is violent. I know some of you don't like that. That is the only language they understand. Violent. Regardless of whoever is there. They're going to kill us. Oh, you're being killed anyway, every day already. So what's the difference? You are being killed. Every day, people are being killed. Colonial administrator, imagine this, also kidnap orphan children from communities and transport them to child colony to work on a train as soldiers. Estimated suggest that more than 50% died there. And when I sit here and I say, hey, shut up, you hear somebody telling me nonsense. These ones were using violence to hold us down. The only language any African country understands is violence. Even though we don't promote violence on this platform. But that's the only language. You think the Biafrans are stupid. Why do you think they are preparing themselves and defending themselves? If they burn any Fulani, will go into their forest, you will be killed. Because that's, you can't come and kill their citizen. Iweliri, they're killing us. Our own people were calling Igbowo. Igbowo, please come on. Igbowo, please come on. We don't have a government to protect us. Because our government is telling us, no, don't carry arms. So, but in America, it's part of their law. You go into somebody's house, they can't see, and they'll shoot you, you die. What are you looking for in their compound? Pity a lot of you. Once again, a very good morning. It's 3:30. I'm thinking I'm still very good because I slept a little bit earlier, so I'm still good. Still a few more hours to. So, he built African Museum in the ground of his palace at Turuven with a human zoo. Can you imagine that? He built an African Museum with human zoo in the ground, featuring 267 Congolese people as exhibit. Maybe make I explain that in Yoruba. Ó create zoo, ó wá kó àwọn èèyàn, àwọn Congolese, ó kó wọn síbẹ̀. So People were coming to watch humans. Zoo is meant to be an animal place where people, animal. But he created a zoo for human being. And that one not paying you pass. The one with me at the talk now, they paying you, bomb bastard. Easy dollar mukir. Can you imagine that? Unbelievable. But rumors of abuse began to circulate, and missionaries and the British journalist Edmund Denny Morrell exposed the regime. By 1908, there was nothing called Nigeria in 1908. You, where you want to kill yourself for Nigeria. Mumu. I love my country, which is in the Bible to, go better for you. Is in the Quran, you must love which country you will love. Olori Buruku, that one a country. Hey, the scriptures say we must love our country, bomb bastard. Which scripture? Which of the scripture? The one where they bring for us, or the one where will be our own African scripture? Which of the scripture are you talking about? I love the all religion. Even I love Hindu. Do you know that the person that wrote the 48 powers of the 48 laws of power? Do you know say na Hindu person writer? Nobody send book where they use for in a church today. Bomb bastard. Come here be telling me nonsense. Do you know that, I've been reading that, recently now. The 48 laws of power. Do you know say na Hindu person writer? Nobody send book now they use for church today. Oh, you don't know that? You better go and listen to this man where the Ukraine, we don't run away now. What's his name called? I was listening to his video yesterday. Let me go on my history on my YouTube. Dr. Sunday Adelaja. There's a particular clip he did some few years back. He did that how many years ago? 3 years ago. It's called How Your Geos Enslaved the Church Through 48 Laws of Power. What has church got to do with using 48 laws of power? Momo people. The scriptures say we must love your which country the scripture say makes you love? Nigeria and a country. Come here and be telling us nonsense. If I go out now, I can walk around there. Nobody will touch me. I mean, not that, we don't have criminals in this country. But if anything happen at corner 99, they'll come and say, what happened, Mr. Koiki? I said, somebody just wanted to attack me. They say, did you see the person? Wallahi, the police will send a helicopter. They start looking for that person. One person, no. Just me alone. They will, if I walk on my street now and somebody attack me, right? And I still manage to make a call. When the emergency come, they will be treating me and they will pull out an helicopter. They don't know whether I get paper or no get paper. Lori Buruku, somebody say, we must love our, which go better for you if you say we could love, scripture say make we love our country. The Quran say make we, I have a Quran here, I have Bible upstairs. Olushi. We must love our country. That is what the scriptures say. And the same scripture, they are using 48 laws of power to deceive una. Now, Hindu, according to what I've been reading from Dr. Sunday Adelaja, you must allow your brain to be exposed. Lock your brain into one thing you think, you think saying a Christian and Islam the only religion waiting for this world. Oloshi. Many religions out there. Religion is just your own between you and whoever you are communicating with. So you think your own religion is better than Hindu. You must pray 5 times daily. If you don't pray 5 times daily, you are not going anywhere. Who tell you that? Oh, if you don't go to church, you are not going to see Bala. Carlos on your phone. Bomb bastard. Lock your brain up. But at the internet, that if you go. I've not even finished watching the video. I've watched it up to 26 minutes. I don't have to agree with Dr. Sunday Adelaja. I think concern me. I'm only taking the message out of what he's saying. Just take the message. If you like, he has his own problem. You don't have to like me. Just take my message and move with it. How can church be using what has 48 laws of power got to do with church? They're using that to use your brain Use your brain, you know, àkàrà tó ti dín pẹ̀lú òróró kan for months. And we come here, we're telling you, we're educating you. You think say it's a joke. Let's come back to the conversation. My name is Olami Koiki Media. So let's come back and let's leave Belgium for now. I've given a bit of the background. I want to go back to Finland, where we started yesterday, and pick up from there. I mean, how can they be using us as a zoo, you know? So let me just give us let's go back to Finland. Let's leave all this other. Hey, Nigeria wins 11 billion PID case in London. Everybody is excited. Falling 3 kills 2 injures 10 in Kwara State. Okay. Court remand man for defiling neighbor's 13-year-old granddaughter. Is a pedophile. Let's go back to Finland. And if you don't know the 48 laws of power, if you have time, go and study it. It is what is used to control people till date. Some of you must allow your brain to be open. You don't even have to agree with everything we say here, but at least the one that is truth, you take it. Where are we? So what do we mean by sovereignty? You know, some people ask why you want Nigeria to break. Mokiyami First Bank. Good morning, ma. Kubwentawani, Canada. Good morning, Mr. Yerinde, Mr. Idris. Dizzy man, good morning. Truth and Question, good morning. Good morning to my beautiful Biafrans. Kudos to your Prime Minister in Esther, Government in Exile, Simon Ekpa, Obiaro, Daryl, and the rest of you. Remy Official, my brother, good morning. Yami Idris, Abimbola, good morning. My name is Olami Koiki. I told you I'm your last man standing. Think I'm joking. I will open your skull. That your skull will not get sense. I will open it up. You will fight back. I was listening to my Egun last night. I slept off on the program. Doing very well. Great guy. Pure Yòrùbá man. And I was listening to some of his analysis yesterday. You think all these things that we're talking about, you think it's a joke. You're presidiot, like Maegun will say. These politicians are all liars. They are the puppet of the West. They are working for the West. They are the puppet. But many of you don't know that. Many of you think that we are the problem. We are the solution to what can change. I mean, imagine this. This is my phone for my case. You see, I love anything military. If they burn you well like this, have something like this and walk from Ikeja cantonment and go up and down and use it like that. And let a soldier come and ask you, are you a military man? Why are you holding this? Just, I mean, this is a phone case I bought on eBay for £5. Benny, Robert Greene, you're right, is a student of Ben Hudism. The 48 Laws of Power is a non-fiction book by American author Robert Greene. The book is a New York Times best-selling for over 1.2 million copies have been sold. Ẹlòmíì ò tẹ̀ gbọ́ rí pé kí ló ń pè ní 48 Laws of Power. Ó lè lọ sí church òun lọ mọ́ṣáláṣí. Interfering control yín nìyẹn tó bá mọ́. let's come back home. So we wanted to talk about sovereignty. I went back again and looked at my dictionary.
Sovereignty.
What is the meaning? What do we really want? We just want our own sovereignty. And some might say, but Nigeria is the sovereignty. Who tell you that? Nigeria is not a country because we are speaking different language inside our country. That is not a country. Like Dr. Ugu say, just put everybody together and tell us we should, So what do we really mean by
sovereignty?
Somebody say, Uncle Tony, hardly will enter any pastor or GO in Nigeria without finding the book in their library. How many people do not know in Tankwe in 48 laws of power? Emma Paro, just say me or more, Mr. Koiki. Yes, I don't know. I'm hearing it for the first time. Not sure. So much they happen, As I wake up, my wife say, Bale, mi yaton lo she program money. Wow, somebody saying I'm hearing it for the first time. Interesting. You better don't lie. If you have not heard it before, just say me no worry. Dizzy man, thank you. Michael Grace says he even launched another book in 2018, Human Nature. Okay, let me Google that. I can go and read that later. At least some of these books you can get them. Human Laws of Nature. Okay. Interesting. From the first New York Times selling author of the 48 Laws of Power comes the definitive new book on decoding the behavior of people around you. Robert Greene is a master guide for millions of readers, distilling ancient wisdom and philosophy into essential texts for seekers of power, understanding, and mastery. What is the 10 law of human nature? What is the 48 laws of human nature? You see, we learn on this platform. Somebody also said, I'm hearing it for the first time. There are any time, there's a PDF of it. I have the PDF myself, but Ogun Okpogon is 476. Let me just give you a bit of, I won't be able to read everything. No, it's too much. But let me just give you my own PDF here. It's a platform that you learn a lot. You can disagree with my views, but you know that you gain a lot from here anyway. So Robert Greene. So the PDF, I'll see if I can upload it on my website tomorrow, God's willing, or probably later on today. It's a lot of work when you're into media, especially trying to open the brain of many Nigerians that doesn't have nothing. So, law. I'm giving you the 48 laws of power now, okay? So, sovereignty is a supreme power of or authority. Let me complete that before we move in from there. So, when we say sovereignty, can be described the power of one state or thing over another, or freedom, a state that has to control itself. So Yoruba nation that we are asking for, those that are asking for the Biafra nation, those that are asking for the Arewa nation, the Middle Belt nation, is a freedom that we can control ourselves. We don't want to be controlled by that word called Nigeria anymore. But our politicians do not want to agree with us because they are still part of the corrupt system and they're working for the puppet West. So the citizen must come together. Look, forget about, look, you cannot put down Tinubu. It's a fact. All this Supreme Court, all this Jaguar, the only thing they can do is Tinubu will probably not get a ticket in 2027. So if you think that Tinubu will leave the power for Atiku and Peter Obi, you must be dreaming. And if that doesn't happen, then the least thing that can happen is, the PDP and the Peter Obi movement can create chaos in Nigeria. And for me, I'm ready for any kind of chaos. As long as Nigeria breaks anyway, I don't care. I'll be so happy to see chaos, because chaos is part of what will lead to what we are asking for myself anyway. I'll be fooling myself if I sit here and say I don't want chaos. So if Supreme Court comes out and say Tinubu is still the president, if the obedient come out and start creating chaos, it will just fast track the breakdown of Nigeria. But I don't think they have the balls anyway. But we don't know, because there's a lot of things out there. So when we talk about what is an example of a sovereignty, sovereignty is the right of a nation. Nigeria is not a nation. A nation is the one where they will speak the same language. You're not going to speak the same language. So don't come here and tell me, hey, we must love our country because that is what the scripture, which scripture? If I slap your face, which of the scripture? Bible or Quran? Just reason say our people are also lost in their mind, that they resist or ignore any change that could mock them anyway from their sufferings. Very difficult to understand why. And we appreciate and we respect. Ṣé Facebook méjì ni mo run ní pẹ̀lú Koiki Media, because I'm seeing Koiki Media here and I'm seeing let me see something. Ẹ má bínú. What's going on? Am I running it two live on the same? All right. We should be running one ahead. There should be one on the backup channel. Yeah. So ṣe ń gbé message ilé wá síbí báyìí tí mo rí tẹ́lẹ̀. I'm confused now. Where's my... Okay. Which of the platforms it's in Wele? The Borikoiki. Yeah. So I'm surprised that I'm getting the comment on this coming on there. Yeah, I know you're on W76, but I'm seeing it on my screen here. So I'm thinking maybe you are posting on the same platform two messages simultaneously. Yeah, I know you're on the backup channel, but I can still see this, your comment on the Koiki Media on here. So that's why I'm a little bit confused. Because as the comment comes here, it pops up on there. Maybe I'm getting tired, but I'm still okay anyway. All right, let's move swiftly and continue. So we're still talking about sovereignty. So when we say sovereignty, sovereignty is the right of a nation or group of people. My brother, you are not online on Koiki Media. No, our live now. I'm live on Koiki Media. I can see myself. I'm live on Koiki Media. We have 51 people watching. We're live on Koiki Media. And people are there. We are streaming on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 channels, including my MixLR. I have 2 people that are listening to me on the MixLR. Akin Games, Comrade Plan B until Osuntier. So we're streaming on 9 platforms. Thank you so much, everyone. We're still very good in time. And if children are on holiday, so I'm sure some of you are still also on holiday. What on holiday in Nigeria? Are the children on holiday? The 1 week break? Because I know they use the British system in Nigeria anyway, in education. So let's come back to sovereignty. So when we say sovereignty, is the right of a nation or group of people to be self-governed. We want to be self-governed. Thank you so much, Mr. Peter. The creator of the universe never planned for Africans or humanity to suffer. It is better to live your life trying to unlock the plans of the creator than focusing on the virtual paradise to escape suffer. Which heaven did they go? The heaven where nobody don't see. Better enjoy the life before you die. So you're going to heaven. So sovereignty is the right of a nation or group of people, the indigenous people. We speak of countries such as United States as being sovereign political powers because they are completely independent of any other political entity. Political scientists often refer to this as absolute sovereignty. What does sovereign mean in the UK? Adjective. A sovereign state or country is independent and not under the authority of any other country. Nigeria is not an independent country. Many people think Nigeria is independent. Hey, we don't get independent. Hey, they gave us independence in 19... Who told you that? We are not independent. It's part of the lies. What is the classic definition of sovereignty? This is the general definition according to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. Supreme authority within a territory. Your governors cannot have access to the land because it's part of the, exclusive or whatever list that they cannot touch the resources of the land. So everything is with the federal. So many of you that are thinking Tinubu is there now, is the president, is a Yoruba man. By the time Tinubu leaves, he goes back again to the north. So he goes, and don't ever think that the north, like I told you, the north does not want Nigeria to break now. And this is the reason why we must continue to tell Nigerians that elections is just a rabble rouser. Some of you have been in politics. What has been the benefit? Nothing. So I'm just going to give you the snip of the, maybe 3 or 4 of the 48 laws of power, so that I can touch on the Finland. And I think we've done almost 2 hours. So this program doesn't normally go more than 3 hours. Mr. Ganelo, you did good morning, sir. So let's quickly move forward because of the time. The law number 1, never outshine the master. Always make those above you feel comfortable and superior. In your desire to please or impress them, do not go too far in displaying your talent, or you might accomplish the opposite. Inspire fear and insecurity. Make your master appear more brilliant than they are, and you will attain the height of power. Law number 2, never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. Be wary of friends. They will betray you more quickly, for they are easily aroused to envy. They also become spoiled and tyrannical. But hire a former enemy. He will be more loyal than a friend because he has more to prove. In fact, you have more to fear from friends than from enemies. If you have no enemies, find a way to make them. Law number 3, conceal your intentions. Keep people off balance and in the dark by never revealing the purpose behind your actions. If you have no clue what you are up to, if you have no clue what you are up to, they cannot prepare a defense. Guide them far enough down the wrong path. Envelope them in more smoke. By the time they realize your intention, it will be too late. Law number 4, always say less than necessary. When you are trying to impress people with words, the more you say, the more common you appear, the less in control. Even if you are saying something banal, it will seem original if you make it vague, open-ended, and extreme-like. Powerful people impress and intimidate by saying less. The more you say, the more likely you are to say something foolish. Law number 5. So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. Reputation is the cornerstone of power. Through reputation alone, you can intimidate and win once it slips. However, you are vulnerable and will be attacked on all sides. Make your reputation unassailable. Always be alert to potential attacks and thwart them before they happen. Meanwhile, learn to destroy your enemies by opening holes in their own reputations. Then stand aside and let the public opinion hang them. This is a powerful thing of it. After number 6, I'm going to move on to the next conversation. Law number 6, cut attention at all costs. Everything is judged by its appearance. What is unseen counts for nothing. Never let yourself get lost in the crowd, then or buried in oblivion. Stand out. Be conspicuous at all costs. Make yourself a magnet of attention by appearing larger, more colorful, more mysterious than the blame and the timid masses. I'll leave the rest for tonight. That's law 1 to 6. Let's come back now to Finland. Yesterday we were talking about revolution. Yeah, you can download it. I can share the link of where I was reading from. So I'm going to share the link in case you want to download it. Ekalema Yamadepeju. Omolubaka sọ pé ọpọlọ wọn ti wà polluted. Yes, sir. Koshemani, thank you so much. Shout out to every one of you. So that is the link for the PDF. So let me post that as well to the Facebook. Hopefully Facebook will accept it because Facebook is just a messed up platform now. So let me post it as well to the backup channel, WD. Follow Alori, the backup channel, help us to push it, promote it, so that many people they don't focus. So that is what I just read now. In case you want to download it, that is the link. So just the Facebook. It might be in our TikTok. There's no way I can put it there. So you might have to go on my page and do that and copy it. I'm still studying it myself. Moke, my brother, I know it cost you guys a lot to be with me. And so everybody will be able to go to bed. Fully lori revolution mo kàn fi two pick lórí ẹ̀ lálẹ́ again ká tó máa lọ. So we were talking about yesterday how Finland got their independence. That was the conversation yesterday. So Finland declared its independence from Russia Empire on December 6, 1917. That was like 3 years after the amalgamation of Nigeria. Yeah, if you go on let me put it on my Twitter as well. So in case you want to download it as well from the Twitter. So Otiwalori Twitter as well. Then I'm going to put it on my backup YouTube channel, community rather. So everybody, Montankpeni community, there's a place on my YouTube called community. I post a lot of things there. Make sure you go there and read. Don't go and be listening to pomo and alata and agbo joints, and then you say what you don't understand. If you're not too sure of anything, you can always send me a question. I'll try to answer. You can send a question through my website, www.koikimedia.com. You can send me an email. You can have my number. I'm a public figure, so my number is always available, +44 74 04 05 917. At least I will check my phone between 9 in the morning and probably up to 8 o'clock, 9 in the evening. If I don't respond to you quickly, just bear with me. I'm the only one managing myself. I don't have a PA. But most of you do get calls, especially I have a good phone now that I'm using with my other number. So sometimes I call people at random and they're like, Mr. Koiki, we're all human beings. So I'm not special. I'm just doing my own job. I'm not your geo that you cannot reach out to. You can always reach out to me. I don't do visa to UK, but when you live in this country and you have any problem, I will do whatever it can to make sure we resolve the problem. I've lived here for 25 years. I don't do business with Nigerians because I don't trust anybody in Nigeria. I'm sorry. But if you happen to get to UK, and you have problems, immigration, whatever it is, somebody is trying to oppress you for whatever reason, abusive, whatever, just let us know. We take care of it. But don't come in and say, UK. I don't know about that. Go and find out you're going to get to UK. But when you get here, I can help you. Even if you don't have your papers, at least we can guide you and see. And don't think any case is good. Immigration, nobody has a case. You can fabulate anything as long as you have an application with the Home Office. I fought them for 15 years. So don't let anybody fool you and say, I'm in UK. Some of them went through the same process like you are trying to do. If you're a student, you want to change things over, you just need to find a good lawyer to guide you and help you. And there's some free services and some you have to pay, for consultation. Immigration is not a disease, and you must speak out. If you don't speak out, it's your problem, not my problem. When you live in Europe, you speak out. It's only in Nigeria that they don't speak out because you think, if I tell somebody, say my wife get belly, they're going to do juju, Oloshi country. Women will tell you the dates they're giving birth in this country. I'm like, I can say if I want you. There's no way you can explain to that person. I mean, how can they, hey, I'm carrying a baby boy. No, they say this kind of thing now. Because they don't see it as anything. They say, I'm going to be due next week on the 11th. How can you be telling me you're going to be due? Because they don't see it as anything. Tell somebody, say you go due in Africa. My wife will give birth tomorrow. That wife no go give birth. She would die in the labor room. Evil country. Witchcraft everywhere. They don't use witchcraft kill politicians. They use witchcraft kill themselves. Bomb bastard. And that's the country you want me to keep. So let's come back to the conversation. So we're talking about Finland. Finland is a very, very beautiful country. But they also fought to get their independence. It wasn't easy. It was during the Russian Empire, just like we have the Oyo Empire. It was destroyed by the same colonials. Destroy all those empires. And the way they do that is during the war. The moment there's a war, they're going to take borders. I hope there's not going to be World War III. We've seen World War I. We've witnessed World War II. We pray that there is not going to be World War III. There's a lot happening on the international front. So, the Russia also have an empire, but on the 6th of December 1917, Finland declared its independence. This was shortly after what they called the Bolshevik Revolution. The United States recognized them 2 years after, on the May 7, 1919. That's like about 5 years after Nigerian amalgamation. So what do we now understand by all this revolution? Revolution happens when things are not going in accordance. Nigeria is not practicing a monarchy system. The British is still practicing the monarchy system. Our prime minister must go to the king or the queen before she died and present whether they accept him or her to lead, the government. Even though now they vote, but they still have to take the message to the palace so that the palace can say, oh yeah, I'm going to be working on my behalf. But in reverse is Nigeria, in Yoruba territory, where the kings are under the puppet of the Lori Buruku politicians. Because all your politicians are Lori Buruku people. Doesn't matter who they are, women, children, or whoever they are, they are born bastard. And it is the British colony of the time that decided to they were smart. They kept their own monarchy system strong, where politicians cannot override what the queen. Now we have the king after the death of the Queen Elizabeth II. But in our own territory, they switched things around, took the control from our monarch system and gave it to the politicians. A majority, they gave it to the north. So today, the Sultan of Sokoto is well respected, even than Oni of Ife. I say it categorically. You can go and do your studies on that. Because the Sultan of Sokoto is the one in charge of Nigeria. So all your government is not a proxies. So Tinubu is actually working for Sultan of Sokoto. Maybe some of you don't know that. So when we are sitting here and we're telling you all this, it's because evidence base is there. How can the monarch has a system that works here, but in Yoruba land or Oni of Ife, the Ojaja II does not control how do I want to put it this way? Oni still have to be begging for fund, into his domain to be able to operate. Oni should have a budget to work with in trillions of dollars, because he will be the one controlling what is known as the southwest of Nigeria, including all the other side of the Obas. But today, they don't have revenue. That's why they are looking, all your Obas, even the smaller ones, they are looking for diaspora to come and do pipe-borne water, come and do hospital, and all those nonsense. When they should be the one, remember that the land belongs to them, because Awani, they stool to the power. That's why we call them Oba. Obawa Denity kò ní access sí ilẹ̀ yẹn. And some of them even have access to it. They've sold it off to foreigners anyway. What a very pity situation. They don't burn you well. You say you buy land for this. Which land you go and buy for this country? Mokiba Bawade Oshun. Ekaroso. Ilẹ̀ Olufera. You can buy a house, but you don't own the property. You don't own the land. The land still belongs to the king. I hope you understand. So this revolution that took place, what was the Bolshevik Revolution? It is a revolution that took place in Russia between 1917. Russia held or had two revolutions, the first of which was in February, called the March New Style. This actually overthrew the imperial government, and the second of which was in October, called the Bolshevik. So what is the difference between the Russian Revolution and the Bolshevik Revolution? The first was commonly referred to as the February Revolution. It actually overthrew the imperial government. Which day now go overthrow the government so that we can take back what belongs to us? No, we can't do that, Mr. Koiki. They're going to kill us. Well, that means you're going to suffer more. When are you two going to come and so that we can do it together? I am not living in Nigeria, so why should I come back? It's either you take it back yourself or you just adapt to whatever it is on the ground. But can you adapt to a system like 1999 fraudulent constitution? So, again, what is the difference between the Russian Revolution and the Bolshevik Revolution? The first was commonly referred to as the February Revolution. It overthrew the imperial government. The second is called the Bolshevik Revolution, brought the Bolshevik to power. These events are referred to collectively as the Russian Revolution. Who were the Bolshevik fighting for? People must fight for something. Even people that are fighting to save Nigeria, they are fighting to save something. That is life. You must be ready to fight for. Look, okay, you say you don't want Nigeria to break, but you are fighting to survive in Nigeria. Are you not fighting for something? So you are indirectly fighting for something. That is human lives. We must fight for something so that we can survive. And when you are fighting for something, you will defend it with whatever you have. And that is why the Biafrans are now defending their territory with what they have. If the military go there, they do anyhow, they get anyhow. It's as simple as that. Asari Dokubo is moving as well with a lot of, ammunitions in the country. Has the DSS gone to arrest him? No. He says it's a private security organization or whatever. We saw him there brandishing AK-47 on the social media. So if you don't like what the Biafrans are doing, then good luck to you. Tell Bola Tinubu to give them referendum and let them decide if they were going to be in Nigeria or not, or cut them out. But the Olori Buruku government or governors doesn't want that because they're still part of the corrupt system. We must all wake up and take it back. So, the Soviet leaders not only wanted to liberate Russia from the dependence on the outside world, which in their opinion threatened to make Russia a colony of advanced industrial power. So they were going to be using Russia as well. You think, say, if Russia is not strong, America would have taken it out. But because Russia is very strong, so it's still very difficult to take them out. And they are still building. And they have a lot of nuclear power. And when you have that nuclear power, you do nonsense, everybody go boom, the world will go in flames. America has it, UK has it, but Russia and America has the majority of the nuclear warhead. It's just one press button, boom, and that's it. And that's why America don't joke with North Korea. That young man where they there, America fear him past anything because he has a lot of nuclear warhead. And when you have a nuclear warhead, country will respect you. But they don't want Africa to have any such so that they can control us and they can say, we're coming to have an African UK summit in London. They also want to make the country safe from attack by one more capitalist state. Good morning, Mr. Idowu Michael. So what is the difference between Bolshevik and communist? The Bolshevik ultimately became the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. The Bolshevik, or the Reds, came to power in Russia during the October Revolution phase of the 1917. Russian Revolution. This is how Finland got out. Because Finland doesn't want to be part of that Russia whatever anymore. Even Finland lost some of their land or their territory to Russia. At least the little that they have, they are managing it. It's only we that we want to go there and live in Finland and pollute that area. Many of you Nigerians have polluted other part of the world. Even some argue that why not? Because they also pollute us anyway. So let's go further. So somebody asked, did Britain fight the Bolshevik? In both cases, the British expended more time and effort in fighting the Bolshevik forces than fighting the Germans and the Turkish allies. In the Bolshevistic, the Allied forces, having expelled the Bolshevik administrations, cast about for anti-Soviet element to carry the struggle into interior. So Britain, maybe some of you don't know how powerful this country has been during that era. For 200 years, the British Empire was very, very massive, big. They were controlling territories around the world. So that is why there's nothing you will see today. You will see the hands of the British colony inside. It was a very powerful empire. Even though the empire has fallen apart, but you can still smell and feel the British impact in those colonies that they were control of for 200 years. How they were able to do it, I don't know. But they survived it for a very long time. So what they are doing now is almost like going back to this African UK investment summit that we started with some 2 hours ago, which I'm going to give you the wrap-up countries that UK is expected to attend the event next year. Now that there is no longer an empire, but they still want to keep a cordial business, political, economic relationship with these African countries. Algeria, Angola, Botswana, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Democratic Republic of Congo, Egypt, Ethiopia, Ghana, Kenya, Malawi, Mauritania, Mauritius, Morocco, Mozambique, Namibia, Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal, Sierra Leone, South Africa, Tanzania, Tunisia, Uganda, Zambia. Imagine that the UK wants to make sure that all these countries, they still have a cordial relationship. So why do you think they want Nigeria to break? But we can still have a cordial relationship with them as a Yoruba country as against Nigeria. If Nigeria wants to remain, let the North keep Nigeria. But let the Yoruba go. But the Olori Buruku Yoruba politicians do not want that because they are thinking that they are helping us to stabilize, what cannot be stabilized. A lot of you will suffer. You think that election will solve your problem. It can never solve our problems because Nigeria is not a nation. Does not mean that when we have a nation, we will not have people that will live side by side with us. Do you know how many people live in this country that are not English? I am not an Englishman. But I have lived in this environment for the last 25 years. Not that they want me to live here. I say I want to live here. I fought it for 15 years. So even those that have lived with us before we are going to break here from Nigeria, those ones doesn't need to live with us for 15 years before we give them an immigration right to live with us. Some of you think that when we have Yoruba nation, you're going to tell all the Igbos to run away and leave Yoruba territory. Bomb bastard. What kind of country is that? Because you don't like them doesn't mean that they cannot live with us. It is all going to be a new immigration, just like when the UK left European Union. All the European citizens that were living and working here were given a new right under the new rules of immigration, especially those that have lived in the UK, but they are not UK citizens. They are Europeans. Remember that when UK was still part of the European country, they have the right to work and live here. Now that the UK is leaving the European country, what happened to those that are living here prior to that? They gave them a right to live in this country. So when the Yoruba has their own nation, every other individuals that we have been part of Nigeria together will be given an automatic right to become part of that nation. That is how it's going to work. Or you think you're going to just tell everybody to go. No, it doesn't work like that. Then, Mr. Idowu, there is no amount of election that can fix location 9 called Nigeria. Could possible. So some of you that are concerned that, okay, Koiki, when we have this nation, are we going to tell everybody to exit? No. It's going to be a new immigration allowing them to remain inside the territory. It is the new ones that want to come in based on our immigration rules that will be the government policy to determine that if somebody is now coming into the territory based on whatever the immigration rules are. Why do you think that the UK doesn't want you to come to this country? It's called the immigration rules. We want some of you to come, but we don't want all of you to come. And we don't want criminals or people that are, involved in terrorism. But in Nigeria today, we don't even know who is involved in terrorism, who is involved, in other crimes, because it is just open for Dick and Harry. A system that is not controlled, no database. We don't know who is who. Nigerian passport that can be, all this immigration 419 that you can apply for a passport that you become a Nigerian citizen. And you'll be using that to commit crime. And then you will then say, oh, it's the Igbo people that are committing crime. But we don't even know whether it is the Ghanaian that is using us as Nigerians that are committing the crime. Because we don't know who owns that passport. Oh, it is the Yoruba that is taking the drug. Maybe it is even the Senegalese man that had got a Nigerian passport. And they can speak Yoruba properly more than me because they've lived with us for a very long time. So we don't even know who is who. And when we are saying, let's break this country, they say, shut up, don't break the country. Do you know who is who in Nigeria? That is why nobody can, they cannot find a solution to a crime. And you are looking for justice for Mohbad. Babangida that killed Delegiwa, have you found justice for it? Liars, hypocrite people. Hypocrite. Babangida killed Delegiwa. How many of you have come out to defend the family of Delegiwa? Hey, justice for Mohbad, justice for Mohbad. You see all these celebrities bringing their breast out. Justice for Mohbad. Yeah, everybody don't go quiet now. I told you. You just shout, 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 shout. The only thing is either you don't want a revolution that will break the country. And that is what Showore is saying. Showore knows that revolution will bring down the country automatically. When justice for Mohbad. All the one way they don't kill for your village, don't get justice for them. A whole person head was removed in Oyo State, Kokoro. He was buried without a head. We don't get justice for him. Is he not a human being? Shiyima Kinde knows about it. Auxiliary knows about it. How many people have they killed? All these your criminal actor thugs. Some of you are so scared that you cannot even say certain things in Nigeria because you know they will come after you. And you're looking for justice for one person. We should be looking for justice for every Nigerians. Justice for not having 3 square meal. Don't you know that is crime against humanity? 3 square meal, some of you. If I finish now, look, kitchen there. Find something to eat. Even though I'm not fasting. Because I can't allow my worms to be crying. And the moment the worms are crying, they start biting something there. So you must eat something so that the worms can have something to eat. Ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé àrùn ló wà nínú kun wa ni? So the moment you put food in there, when they are full of, they go and sleep. How can you sleep when you are hungry? An angry man is a what? Abi, an hungry man is a what? Is it not the reason why some of you want to ready to kill anybody? Because when you're hungry and you become a demon, and then you then say, hey, na devil. And don't ever call issue. Issue is our own. It's our tradition. You can call devil. There's nothing wrong with issue. Issue is a good name for Yoruba people. Bomb bastard. Okay, I don't like the way you talk sometimes. You cost too much. It no go better for you. Nigeria no go let somebody cost all the time. Ìlú wèrè. Make I dey go jare 4:30. Think I've tried enough. We start again tomorrow. At least I've given you some tonic. I'm sure some of you never expected. I don't have a time that I come out. Just follow all the platforms. Make sure you subscribe. Click the notification button. Make sure you log in to at least one of our platforms. I am live. You will pick it up when I'm live. Mr. Koike, I know they see your program. That's not my problem. You should go and look for how you will see my program. And thank you so much for those of you. You see the soldier we sit here. They know the joke. You they cry for prayer. See, now gun they carry. These are Israeli soldiers. Now gun they carry. I'm not here to support or defend anybody. All I can say is let peace be in the world. If there's no peace, there will be war. Go and find peace with the Biafra. If not, there will be war between the federal government and the Biafra. It's building up. I will be here to talk about it. I might even fly into that area. I know that they will protect me as a media. But if I did on the Nigerian side, they're not going to protect me. They'll probably take me out. If there's no peace, there will be war. Forget about all this Yoruba proverb. We don't know the end of it. Na lie. If you don't want war, let decide whether Igbos or Biafrans, they still want to be part of us. If we don't want to go, they want to go. You cannot hold them back. It's two different movements. And if they're born Nigerian soldier, go there. You see what will happen to you. Now firepower. I've told you, I love diplomacy, I love negotiation, I love peace. But I'll be the last person to fool you. The Yoruba people must prepare to fight. It might not be now. It might even be the next 4, 5, 7 years. We must be prepared at the back of our mind to fight. And what do I mean by fight? To protect that territory. You lose that territory, that is the end of your life. Forget about the one where they say if you die, you go heaven. Nobody don't go heaven, come back. All that one of Abu. Who don't go heaven, come back. We protect our territory so that by the time we die, we know that we left something behind. All these are our forefathers, we don't die now. They left us in mess. Each time I look at Ikuba Baye, the late Alaafin, some of the questions I asked him, and I wanted to put it on record, to record. He said no. But I'll leave that. You read those in my memo, or my memoir later, in the future. I asked him deep questions. It was just between myself and Igboho. And there was no recording. He opened up to us. Bomb bastard. Come here in Nigeria. Which Nigeria? All right, Olamasu, my brother and sisters, thank you so much. Have a very good morning. Enjoy the rest of the day. I'll be back again. Support us if you can. If you're willing to, it's voluntary. Thank you so much, Mr. Bankole Abdurazak. 3 square mil, so nothing like 3 square mil. May Lidumari be with us. May the gods of our land continue to protect us and protect you. Don't sleep with your 2 eyes closed. Nigeria is a time bomb ready to explode. I don't know how soon. DG75, thank you so much. It will explode. It's just a matter of time. We will not stop talking. As Mayegun they talk, Pastor Van Van, the Biafran ones they talk. They've locked his Twitter, his YouTube for 2 weeks. All the social media knows that our message are too powerful for them. Let them control the narrative. When the Biafra set up their government in the future, we will do surpass more than Facebook. I'm sure that Yòrùbá will also do more than Twitter, YouTube. We have the brains among the Yorubas that are working with all these organizations. What is the big deal about setting up this kind of platforms? We would have our own media, like Al Jazeera is being controlled right from Qatar. It's the Qatar government that is sponsoring Al Jazeera. They control the Middle East. The Yorubas must also be ready to change the narrative in the future. You can't change that narrative under the fraudulent Nigeria today, but we can change it when we have our own sovereignty. Have a very good morning. My name is Olami Koiki. Koiki Media, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Good night.